Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. My name is Maaike. Today I am filming a full face of ColourPop for you. ColourPop is a brand that I really enjoy, but it is also a brand that I find a little bit difficult to get because I'm not located in the US. So I'm located in the Netherlands, in case you didn't know, and that means that in order for me to buy ColourPop, I have to either pay shipping and or a customs fee. And that just makes it a bit more cumbersome. So what I like to do is when I want to buy ColourPop products, I just really like waiting for a sale and then get a bit more because it makes a bit more sense, and then pay for the customs fee. So make sure you get free shipping, but you do pay the customs fee. And I feel that that then overall would make it as expensive as if you would have bought all of these products at full price, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a full face as much as possible. There's a few products I don't have. I don't have an eyeshadow primer. They were out of their dewy setting spray, so that's a bit of a shame because I would have loved to try that for you. And I'm just still very loyal to my mascara duo here. But everything else that I've got for you here today will be ColourPop. So let's just get to these products. And before we start talking about products, I have to ask everyone how they are doing. I hope everybody's safe, everybody's healthy, given the whole situation. I personally have also been self-isolating for more than a week now and working from home and all that. So it's been different, you know, it's just a different situation. And I've also heard that a lot of people are finding it difficult to cope with this whole situation mentally. So I hope that you are also okay from that perspective, that you're not going completely insane, climbing the walls of your apartment or home. I really hope that you're safe and sound and healthy, and that you're watching this video in good spirits. So that's why I'm also continuing to make these videos. By the way, I need to distract myself from everything that's going on. Making these videos is also a way for me to connect with other people. So especially since I'm single and I have no one to talk to throughout the day, this gives me an opportunity to talk to someone, which is you. So it's also, I'm doing this for my own sanity as much as yours. So I hope you enjoy them. And the first product I would like to show you is the Fourth Ray Beauty Turmeric Face Milk. And I'm going to be using this as a primer. And the reason why I'm using this as a primer is because they were out of their dewy primer, and I just was browsing their website and everything had 25% off. And I was like, this is supposed to hydrate and brighten. I thought that's also something that some primers do. And I have a couple of these products now that could be a primer, could be a moisturizer, could be a highlighter. So I just thought that I could try this. I've already used it once or twice before this video to test it out. And so far I'm liking it. In terms of priming, I don't think this necessarily makes makeup last longer. But what I do think it does is that it really gives a good base for your makeup to go over as such. So I'm just going to be applying this. It feels very nice and cooling on the skin. And in case you didn't know, Fourth Ray Beauty is the ColourPop skincare line that they do. And I was just curious after this, and this smells really nice and lovely, and it feels really pleasant on the skin. So I'm really happy with this so far. And that's something that you do have to know, is that some of these products I've tried and love, and some of these are quite new to me. This is one of the newer products. But yeah, so far this feels very lovely, and I've had no issues with it. I'm quickly going to be priming my eyelids, and I'll be right back. Right, so that was the Essence You Better Work eyeshadow primer, which is actually on its last legs. There's only a couple of uses in this left, I think. At least it feels like it's almost gone, but we'll see. Then it's time for base. And this was something that a lot of people already saw in my declutter, but I decided to keep the Pretty Fresh range over the No Filter range when it comes to the foundation and the concealer. And this is their Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer. I got mine in the shade Fair 4N, and that's just sort of like when I shade match myself to a brand that I know I can't buy, I always go for a shade, apologies. I always go for a shade that says fair or light or fair to light, and then with a neutral undertone or a pink undertone, because I feel that that is usually the most flattering on me. And I don't think this is a tinted moisturizer. This has far too much coverage for a tinted moisturizer. This is just a hydrating foundation. So it is more lightweight than the No Filter, I'm not gonna lie. And that was a foundation that I also quite like, but I just prefer this one on my dry skin. Especially now we're like heading into the springtime. I still have a bit of that post-winter dryness in my skin, so my skin can use all the moisture it needs. And I just also far more prefer the packaging of this. It has a pump, and then it also has a cover, which the No Filter does not have. So I'm just going to use a makeup sponge. By the way, I am very proud of myself again because I managed to clean all of my brushes before I sat down to film this video. Which is why maybe the lighting looks different from most of my videos. I usually film around noon because I feel I have the best lighting, but my brushes weren't dry yet today. So I waited until now, which is like 5 p.m. to film this for you, precisely for that reason. All right. So this is just a really nice, lightweight sort of texture. It's really nothing too crazy in terms of coverage. Like, this is not the kind of coverage you would like if you have really bad acne. I'm still gonna go in with a concealer as well, so I don't mind this showing a little bit of redness still here on my cheeks and around my nose, and also here my forehead. This is not the kind of foundation that just makes your skin a blank canvas, but I personally like a more sheer to light coverage foundation and then go in with a bit of concealer, but I just like things looking a bit more natural. That's just what I prefer. So I'm gonna go in also with the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. I got this one in the shade Fair 20N. So that is the shade here. And this is just a nice concealer as well. I preferred this much more than the No Filter concealer. Like, that was not good on me. Like, the No Filter concealer was far too drying, where like with the foundation I felt I could still get away with that, but with the concealer, no way. It was just so dry and cakey looking, and it was just a bit of a mess. So then they did this hydrating version, and I was like, I have to try that, and it is really nice. So that's what I like to do in terms of concealer, and as you can see, it's just a little bit lighter than the foundation, which is what I prefer, but I don't like it to be too stark. All right, so that's the Pretty Fresh concealer, and as you can see, that sort of then takes the coverage up a notch of my face makeup, and it just works a little bit better. And that's also something that I have to say about this full face of ColourPop products. Some of these products I've tried and I've had in my collection for a while, which is different from some of the other full face videos I've done this year. The one from e.l.f., there were hardly any products in that video that I had already tried before, and in the Asian makeup one, everything was new to me. This, I have a couple of products that are new, some I've already tried, but something that is new is the No Filter powder. This is in the shade Fair, and this is their pressed one, and I believe this is the only pressed powder they do, which is why I picked it up, because I just prefer pressed powders. So we'll see how it goes. I think this will add a little bit more color. We're doing brows, and I've only used the Precision Brow Pencil. What shape do I have this in? In Dope Taupe. This is the second time I'm using this, and there is already one thing I don't like about this pencil, and that's that it doesn't twist back. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the case, but once I twisted this up to take pictures for my blog, it wouldn't go back down. No matter what I do, no matter how I twist it, it just won't go back down. So the minute you twist this up too far, it just won't do anything anymore. So that's why I have to be very careful right now as well that it won't break, because else I'm just losing a bit of pencil here, which would be a bit of a shame. So if this were truly retractable, I would have liked it better. I know that's a very small thing, but for me, that is just, you know, something that, you know, I don't want to have to worry about twisting up a pencil too far, even at this price point. Like, I've tried brow pencils that are even more affordable than this that do twist back, so I just wish this one did. I like the shade of this. It's quite nice and cool toned, but it's just, if the packaging isn't very successful for me, I know I won't enjoy using it all that much. All right, so that to me is a bit harsh over here. So see, and now we still have lots of product left, so again, careful. So I'm just going to take a spoolie real quickly just to brush them through. And my brows, by the way, are in a real state. I had planned to take sometime this or next week to get them done. And of course that place is now closed, so I can't get my brows threaded. And I do have some waxing paper to wax them, but I'm a bit scared of that because I once waxed my brows and a bit of skin came off. So that's why I'm a bit apprehensive about it. So if my brows look a little crazy, that's why. I also have the Brow Boss Gel by ColourPop. This is in the shade Blonde. And I remember this being pretty okay. I like how it has a very fine, like a very small applicator. It's not too big. And I feel it really catches all the hairs. So, and I really don't need much in terms of brow, I feel. Especially not if they're this crazy. Because my brows are just, they need a bit of filling in, and that's about it. Oh, this is a bit of a messy one because it just kind of catches on here. So again, spoolie, so we can hopefully tone it down a bit. I'm not sure yet how I feel about those brow products. I would definitely have to use them a bit more. I think they're okay in a pinch, but they're not my favorite. I think that's sort of what I would settle for. And then we're gonna go in with blush, bronzer, and highlight. And I have a fun little trio here that I've cobbled together. The only thing I really bought because of this video is this bronzer. And this is their Coconut Beach Pressed Powder Bronzer. And I was looking for a pale bronzer and they didn't have that many. And I think this is from the Going Coconuts collection, but it could very well be permanent and just be in coconut packaging for that collection. I'm never sure with ColourPop how they do that. But this seems to be an okay shade. I perhaps wish it was a hair lighter. Just a touch lighter, especially for this time of the year. But yeah, it's something that we're just gonna have to deal with. So I'm just going to use this around the perimeter of my face. That's good. It's not too pigmented. I was afraid that this would be super pigmented and that it would just be very, very difficult to blend. But that's not the case with this bronzer at all, especially if you're using like a fluffy stipple brush like this one. I'm gonna go in with this. And this is the ColourPop Super Shock Highlighter from the Disney Villains collection. And I think they are now discontinuing these because I saw a couple of these in their sale section. I have the Hades one, which is called Everybody's Got a Weakness. And this is like a peachy toned highlighter. Let me see if I can swatch this for you. And this is the same as their like Super Shock formula in the little pots, but like these little pots, but this is in a pan, which is different for ColourPop. You can't really see anything on my hand. It's right here. Yeah, and what I have found is that the best way to apply ColourPop Super Shock shadow, not shadows, but Super Shock highlighters, is with your makeup sponge. So I haven't tried it with this one yet. I've used a brush with this so far, but my other one in Hippo, I was always applying with this, and this pan is bigger too, so this will probably work better. So I'm just going to take a bit on my sponge and then just blend it on top of my cheekbone right here. I think that, yeah, see, that is working really well. So because these are a cream to powder formula, they can be a bit harder to pick up. And then this just works really well for, well, adding a bit of glow. Yeah. This is the downside of filming later in the day, and then the sun is just not really catching the highlight that well. I think right now you can see it. So that's Everybody's Got a Weakness, and I'm keeping it in the box because I'm afraid that this will dry out if it's just in this pan packaging. So I've kept the box for that reason, to hopefully help it a little bit and not ruin it too quickly. And then last but not least, I have a blush. This is in the shade, oh, it doesn't say. I believe it was called Parrakeet, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a super bright corally shade. So I'm going to be using this dupe for a much more expensive NARS blush brush, which I don't own. This I believe is by Quo, and this is a great brush if you have very pigmented blushes to just get that touch of color to your face. If you don't want to overdo it, this is the brush. That's a really lovely blush. I've had that in my collection for a while. I just wanted to try one of their blushes. And I do have to say that I prefer the powder over the cream products that I've tried by ColourPop. I just do, in terms of face, I believe. I think I had one of the Super Shock blushes, and I wasn't a fan. Moving on then to eyes, and before we do that, I'm quickly going to be priming my lids with the MAC Paint Pot Impatiently and my creamy colored eyeshadow. All right, and then for eyes, I've got a couple of options, and I actually would like to try to combine them a bit. But I would like to pull in the ColourPop Dreamstreet palette. Again, I've seen that they are discontinuing this, and this is my favorite ColourPop palettes. I asked you in my previous, one of my previous videos where I also featured this one, whether you would want me to do like 10 days of trying 10 ColourPop monochromatic eyeshadow palettes. And a lot of people seem to like that idea, so I'm gonna film that for you. So that's why I'm not featuring any of those in this video yet, because they will have a moment in their separate video. And I still need to film that, so that's not gonna come anytime soon because I need 10 days to film 10 looks. So that will probably take place over a 2-week period. And then I need to plan it in, so sometime April, no sooner than that. So I'm just going to be using some of these shades. Can you guess which ones? Of course, I'm gonna play with the teals, and I'm also going to be playing with Kaleidoscope a little bit, I think. But I actually would like to put something else on top, and that is Ritz, which is a Super Shock shadow that I like using as a topper, or just as, you know, as a bit of a one shadow look, you could say. I love traveling with this one. It gives your eye a very wet, sort of glossy look, so I love that. I almost bought a backup of it, but I refrained. And then I have So Quiche here, which I believe is one that's discontinued. And I love putting this on the lower lash line, so I think that that's what I'll do with it right now as well. So I will be playing around with some of these shadows, and then I'll show you the finished look. Right, so I hope I am roughly zoomed in as much as I was before. I just finished the eye look and I'll quickly talk you through what I actually did. I started off with a look with Shooting Star, which I put in the crease, and then once I felt everything was blended nicely together, I sort of finished it off right here towards the brow bone with the shade Magical, which is the matte peachy shade right next to it. And then, of course, as I promised, I was going to go in with the teal, so that's what I did. I used Water Bearer in the outer V and in the crease, just to make sure there's some depth and definition. I've been really liking this technique. Again, it's a technique, one of the first eyeshadow techniques that I taught myself when I first got into makeup, to sort of like draw this like shape and then sort of try blending that out. And then I put Mermaid Boy all over the lid. And I put Kaleidoscope in the inner corner. I did use my finger as well to apply Mermaid Boy, because I just feel that shimmers just go on better if you apply your fingers. And then I also used Water Bearer on the outer edge of my lower lash line. And then towards the end, you saw me go in with these Super Shock shadows. So Quiche is on the lower lash line. It's what I use to connect the Water Bearer shade to Kaleidoscope, just to have a bit of a transition there. And then Ritz, as I already mentioned, is really good for giving that glass-like sort of look to your lid if you wear it by yourself. It has a nude base to it and then a lot of like silvery reflect to it. So on the eye, this looks really sort of glass-like, but as you can see in this case, it also works really well for topping off something that you would like to add some shimmer to. Because it has quite a transparent base, you get mostly the shimmer, and you can still see that lovely teal shade, but it does tone it down a bit. And then I went in with mascara, in case you're wondering, Maybelline the Falsies Lash Lift, which is the new one, and Catrice Glam & Doll Waterproof to top it off. And last but not least, we are gonna talk lips. I have several ColourPop lip options, and I've chosen to only show you one. I have one Lippie Sticks, which is a bright red, but I kind of knew I was going to do this eye, so I wasn't entirely sure. And then I have a bunch of their liquid lipsticks, but I decluttered quite a few of those as well. And I'm sort of over liquid lipsticks, so I would like to show you these because I haven't heard a lot of people talking about them. And these are the Velvet Blur lipsticks. And I have 3 of these, and I'm just going to have to see which one goes. I think Superbloom is nice and spring-like. This is the one that I've worn the most, and it's a really interesting shade because ColourPop sells this as a red, but I don't feel this is a red. It has a lot of pink to it, so it pulls more coral on me, but I think that coral and this shade is actually a really nice clash. So that's a contender. The one that I think I won't be using is Sorry Not Sorry. And this is like a pinky purpley kind of shade. Yeah, I think that's too muted. So that won't work. But just to show you what that looks like. It's a really nice bright shade. Really lovely, I think, in the height of summer when I have a little bit more color in my face. But right now I think it will drain me too much. And then I have a nude called Mesmerize, and this was the one I really wanted at the time, and this is another one that I've used a bit more, but Superbloom for sure. And this is like a pinky, mauve-y sort of nude. Like, this would be the safe option. So let me show you this on first, and then I'll see if I want to switch to the brighter one. So how do we feel about this? I think this goes really well with the look. It pulls perhaps a bit more peach on my lips than I would like. But again, peaches and blues go together really well. But I think, yeah, I am going to go for the bright one. I'm going to do it. So that is what Superbloom looks like. How ColourPop can sell this as a red is beyond me, but I do think that in terms of a look coming together, it's perhaps a bit much for every day. The nude is probably, like I said, the safe option here. That works, but I feel that this works as well because it kind of clashes together. This is what I would like to do in this video, is show you a full face of ColourPop. I hope you thought it was successful. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a comment down below if you have any requests for brands you would like me to do a full face on. I think Catrice is going to be next in April. And then I would like to do Makeup Revolution at some point. I think I want to do Maybelline, Urban Decay. I think I can do Too Faced as well. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make 3 new videos a week, and I hope to see you in my next video. Hope you have a great day. Stay safe and healthy. Bye!